I can't wait to talk about Trent. Do.
Okay. Can you start a podcast with me, please? I need something to do.
Pasternak sent it out in front of Malkin to save this game! Elias Lindholm looks to the heavens.
Here's a chance. Patra right in and goal. He scores. Oh my, what a move by the rookie.
2-on-1. Pasternak moving in with Marchand. Get it to it. Score!
The zone. Coyle dances in. Backhand score!
Lindholm right wing corner. Pasternak is there. He scores! David Pasternak wins it for Boston.
Hey Bruins fans, Maria and I are still off enjoying the holidays, so Adrian and Mo are back for another installment of Too Many Men for Bruins Tape to Tape. This week, they give us their thoughts on the team this season and what they think of individuals on the roster. We'll be back with our regular episodes next week. Have a very happy New Year, and go Bees.
Hello, and welcome to a end of 2024 special edition episode of Too Many Men, Tape to Tape. Mo and Adrian are here. We are going to discuss quickly the Buffalo Sabres game from last night, and then do a 1,000-foot view of the team, things that we're liking, things that we're not liking, things that are good, things that could be better, and issue a little bit of a status check on some of the players and take it from there. Mo, how you doing?
Good. Doing all right. Ready for Christmas and New Year's to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of ready to keep this season going. You know, this year is kind of slow. There's really no hockey trades because of the freeze. So it's just kind of boring hockey-wise. So How you been, Adrian?
I've been all right. Same. Looking forward to a bit of a break and a bit of a rest. I'm glad that we went out on a high note at the end of this thing. Maybe you can call it a bit of a Christmas miracle, but we got our act together after two absolute shellackings and put together some pretty decent hockey to end 2024. I think this last game kind of wimped to the finish a bit, but at least we got the job done. I kind of hope that we come in stronger, but against a team that really has almost nothing to play for and arguably nothing to live for, but still somehow managed to make it look like they were the better team on the ice for a couple of moments last night. Mo, what was your thoughts on last night's game?
You know, it felt up and down. I felt good going into it because Buffalo lost 12 straight, something like that coming in. And Boston kind of needed this game, being home, they needed that win. But as you iterated earlier, it did feel like Buffalo was the hungrier team that wanted it more, where it felt like Korpisalo made the big save when it needed to happen, and he kind of just kept us in the game, and we kind of have him to thank for it.
Yeah.
It felt weird, but as the game went on, it felt as if the Bruins were going to win, and then the goal got taken away and all that kind of shit happened.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but it felt like a game they kind of grinded out at the end, which was nice to see.
Yeah, it was good to see.
What were your thoughts?
It was good to see him win it in regulation, because I mentioned in the Discord that as the minutes were winding down, I was like, I think we lose this if we go to overtime. Yeah.
So I'm curious on the second geeky goal. Did you think that was going to be considered goaltender interference?
Well, did you ask that
as well?
I love that you asked that question. 100%. Until well, this is what's funny, because I saw it go in, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's going in! He's back. We got it again." Yeah. And then, they I saw Reimer screaming. And I'm like, well, that's odd because Reimer's on his face. What happened?
Right.
And then they showed the overhead, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch. That's but the first three views of it they showed did not back it up far enough to watch Brazeau absolutely get laid out by one of the Sabres. And the moment they showed that, I was like, No, that's not.
We're
that's not-
we're
We're
fine.
fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
But Windy took a really long time, and
I know. And then he took a timeout.
took a timeout,
Yeah.
this and that, and then they kept showing the thing, and I was like, it's probably going to get pulled back. And then they backed it up enough. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
No, that was I was the same with you, and then I saw Braz get just destroyed going to the net,
Yeah.
and you probably could have made a play where Braz's like left skate was kind of far out and swung around,
Mhm.
and did Braz do everything he could to kind of still get out of the way, where it was more of like a side hit. It was like, so I'm thinking, could have, like, if he got like bumped a little lighter, did Braz like go down too easy and like do that on purpose? But it was pretty obvious that there was no way, and I was kind of hoping Buffalo was going to challenge just to see what was going to happen and get it. Well, I mean, we hate it when Bruins get power plays, but it would have been nice to have had a power play in those last couple of minutes to make that game a little bit easier to swallow and stomach. But no, it was finally the league and everybody made the right call where it was the right thing, and just move on with the game.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break and come back and do. We'll take care of some stuff. We got more to talk about, but we'll be back after this.
There's nothing better than watching your favorite NHL team live to see the action up close and personal. And if you're looking to score tickets, Game Time is the place to go. With the NHL Four Nations tournament happening in my own backyard at the TD Garden, Game Time will be my go-to to score tickets to those games. Game Time is not just for sports folks. Game Time also has tickets for all types of live events, including concerts, theaters, and comedy shows. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Curated deals makes it easier to find the best price on great seats, and who doesn't want to save a few dollars when you're looking to go to a live event? Game Time Picks provides you with a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, and it also has a lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. It's easy, folks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use redemption code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. It's the most wonderful time of the year for getting in on all the hoops, football, and hockey action at DraftKings Sportsbook. In the season of giving, we're being gifted college football and basketball, pro football and basketball, and pro hockey too, almost 24/7. My team recently gifted me in my DraftKings account with 2 anytime goal scorer hits. And here's a gift for all new customers. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
And we're back. All right. So, one of the things we love to do as Bruins fans is pick apart things that could be better. And this season, there are many things that could be better. But we are at the end of a year, and it's good to look back on where we were last year and think about some things that we were complaining about last year and see where we are now.
We do love to complain,
isn't it? Yeah, and isn't it funny? And what, like, some of these I'm looking at because I, did some deep thinking. Wasn't it so interesting last year that our biggest complaint was that we weren't winning face-offs?
Yep. Well, it was true.
It was true.
Face-offs were pretty terrible.
And now, you can say what you will about the goal scoring aptitude of one Elias Lindholm, but you can't really deny him being part of this team has really made our faceoff percentage drastically improved. So it's sort of interesting that we've forgotten about that. So as we complain about things that things are going wrong, it's nice to see that we're coming back in that stat at least. We always say that, you can't drive plays unless you get possession. And last year, one of our biggest gripes was how on our heels we were all the time because we couldn't win a faceoff to save our lives. So now I'm not necessarily worried as much. And that has seemed to trickle down, not just in the first line, but down to the second and third. Everybody across the board is doing much better. So there's an improvement.
Yeah.
Mo, go on. What do you have to say?
It's not Bergeron's, 61% face-off.
No.
But you've got, just looking, Coyle's face-off percentage has gone down a little bit since last year, which it does seem lately he's been taking less face-offs. Yeah. Something's going on there. But Beecher's face-off percentage has improved. He's at 56% face-offs.
Yep.
As you said, Lindholm is doing a great job. And surprisingly for me is Kostelik's been good on the face-offs as well.
I know.
So more towards the end of the game or in the offensive zone on a power play, you feel like the Bruins have that chance to win. And like you said, it was getting pretty bad there where it felt like, especially in the playoffs, just the other team would win every draw and it would just lead to heartaches and yeah. So
it was odd for last season to be terrified about the prospect of us winning a face-off at crucial moments in time.
Yep.
As surprising as it is now for us to immediately revert to not worrying about it. Like
it is nice.
High pressure situations where we have to win a face-off and Brick is like, Bruins need to win a face-off. I'm like, we'll probably get it. I'm not worried.
Yep.
We'll probably fuck it up after we win it, but at least we're winning it. That's fine. Right. Yeah, listen, you gotta start somewhere. Mo, what do you think about our zone entries this season?
It feels like they've gotten a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
You feel I'm still struggling to see if each individual line has their own offensive kind of get it in the zone strategy. It always kind of feels like Pasta's line will try to drag it in and carry it in and make a play. I like seeing the fourth line kind of dump and chase, be big, be physical. That suits them. The other guys, I'm not quite understanding if they have a strategy right away. That's why I'm kind of hoping Lindholm and Coyle, maybe they'll try to do like a dump and chase. Both those guys are good on the boards. Try to let Marchand go high. Still, I think their power play zone entries are always kind of terrible. And one thing I've kind of noticed is on their zone entries, when they've got the puck in the slot, kind of high up above kind of the face-off, but in that middle, they'll elect to pass it to the guy in the boards instead of try to get a shot. And to me, that's getting a little frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. What are your thoughts on them kind of getting in that ozone?
Yeah, I think that they're at least, you said it, getting in the ozone. Like my memories of last year was them getting stuffed right at the blue line and not even making it in. Yeah. For whatever our ability is to capitalize on, goals and high danger chances. I'm not necessarily as concerned this time about just our ability to get it in, and get it in deep at times. there's anything that could be said about our offensive structure and how we're trying to set up plays. But last season around this time, I remember us being stifled immediately, not even really able to pull off a dump and chase exceptionally well. And Pasta, I've never been a fan of being F1, but
No.
he's, we can say what we want about Noah in this season. It was really bad last year. Like we just couldn't skate in to save our lives. There is an improvement there. That improvement probably exacerbates our feelings on other holes in our game, but it's better. It's definitely
agreed. Yeah. So do you think the secondary effort, that was the other thing?
Yeah, the last thing,
that Don said, that they wanted to get better, is those kind of battles for the loose puck, those 50-50 efforts, those kind of secondary, I missed the puck, but do I go or do I just kind of skate? So how do you think the Bruins have they addressed that? Or
I think that we're seeing signs of life there, and unfortunately they've come more with the departure of Montgomery, and possibly by the fourth line leading by example and that level of scrappy hockey that they were playing for a while. They are not I take a deep breath when I say this. They're not Panthers level of secondary and third effort of whack at it until something goes in. But there is a sense that they're not giving up on plays as much as they used to. Now, maybe it's Sacco's coaching. Maybe it's the realization that their lackadaisical play cost a guy his job. But whatever it is, they haven't woken up completely across all levels of their game. But I am noticing that there is an attempt to capitalize on rebounds more, to be aware of pucks bouncing in areas to try to jump on. And I'm happy to see it.
And those fights in the boards seem to be just a little bit harder. Where I feel as if the Bruins have a better probability of getting the puck off those battles than they did last year. So, and Beecher seems to be going a little harder. Maybe Kostelic, Kepke, McLaughlin, when he's in, he seems to have a pretty high motor. He doesn't do a lot offensively, but those battles, those kind of fourth line abilities, he seems to have it. So definitely bringing those guys in, I think has definitely helped kind of push at least our eyes, and we feel a little bit better with that. I know the one thing we don't feel better about though is the penalty kill.
Exactly. So, we're not going to. We're Bruins fans. We're not going to get optimistic. Let's bring everything down to it. What sucks? All right.
Well, the penalty kill. Would be one.
And we can dovetail this against a further point. But the penalty kill, which used to be the one thing we could rely on with this team in the absence of anything else. Not in goaltending, which we will get to next, but has tanked. And I don't know whether or not defensively this is a situation where it's like a ship of Theseus type situation, where like how many pieces of this system can you plug out and put in different pieces of on a season by season basis until it stops being Bruins defense? And I think we've tested that. Whatever is going on defensively is not working for the PK. And I'm going to say some names, and you're going to dry heave a bit. But there's one thing Forbert did well. It was the PK. There you go. And it's not being handled well this season. So what do you think?
Those block shots.
I've never been a guy that's thought Chris Kelly needed to go, but if this is what Chris Kelly does, it ain't working. He's power play. Sorry.
I think, so I don't know who exactly does what. My thought process was, I remembered Kelly was in charge of the defense, and I thought one of the other coaches was in charge of the penalty kill. So I had assumed that, and I thought he was in charge of the forwards penalty kill. So then Kelly was defense power play. But I would say there were at least a couple of factors early on that made the penalty kill atrocious. The first would be Swayman's terrible play. I believe there was a lot of power play goals given up by Swayman early on, which would have affected their penalty kill percentage. And then I want to say early on, Lindholm Elias was a liability out there where, yes, he was winning those draws, but he didn't really know where to go in his own zone because he had not played he was hurt all preseason and he only played like 1 or 2 games. So I think those have kind of almost made it seem like the penalty kill's worse just because they're bottom 5 of the league. But I feel a little bit better that their penalty kill is trending in the right direction. But man, their penalty kill was just it's not great. No. What do you look for? What do you think? Do you think it's more of like the defense not getting the puck out, like when McAvoy or whoever like could have gotten the puck out and it bounced and that was the turnover, one of those goals in the last game? So
I think goes back to what we were talking about before with a lack of a sense of urgency on the half of the defense and also whoever's trying to clear the puck. There were many times last night where I was looking and obviously, in my memory of games, the defense and the penalty kill, they kind of they conflate a little bit because we're not obviously off in an offensive moment. But there's a lot of times where you will watch like 3 Bruins converge on a single puck and it goes nowhere. It's between the 3 of you. One of you should be able to get it past the blue line. And, it's confounding. And there's a lot of soft lobbing happening. It doesn't really seem to be moving with intent. And, you point to a couple of specific struggles, which are not, Swayman having a couple of off games or not being there. But the stars are not aligning in an area where our team is built from the net out, and it's not, and it's glaring that there are issues there. And if that's the one thing that's going to save us in the absence of anything else.
Yeah, I am a firm believer that your special teams is what makes or breaks the playoffs. Special teams and goalie. If you get the power play, you got to score. If you get a penalty, you better not let them score. Because that will kill you. So they better get both those things under wraps, and right now it's bad. So we talked about Swayman. What is your overall comfort or anxiety level with goaltending right now, as opposed to early on? And do you see them trending up, down? Do you think they're plateaued?
Expectation. I think my comfort level is expectation driven. By that I mean Korpisalo is overperforming and Swayman is underperforming. But not a lot of people expect much from Korpisalo, so I'm pleasantly surprised when he comes up with a big save.
Yeah.
Swayman famously held out. Famously, had a notebook. And so now when he doesn't make a big save, I'm like, I could calculate the dollar value on that goal. I think I am remembering 2 Swaymans last season. One was the postseason and one was the stretch after the All-Star break. And this season, I am seeing Swayman after the All-Star break. And unfortunately, we saw that Swayman longer than we saw the Swayman in the postseason. Hopefully Swayman figures it out. We've seen flashes of brilliance there, but I don't want to be a doomsayer, but there are times that goalies get hot. He got hot. That doesn't mean he stays hot, and he's not playing like he's an elite goalie right now. He'll make a big save, but he's let in some really soft ones.
Yes.
And getting lit up that way, it's one thing if your team is not playing well around you, and they haven't. Right. But you got to be able to steal some games, and he's not showing that he's in stealing game level.
Yeah. Korpisalo's, it feels like Korpisalo is stealing games, right? In my mind, he helped steal the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
And the one thing I go back and think about is I remember goalies like Locker and Raycroft that were supposed to be amazing Bruins goalies, but they ultimately didn't pan out because of one glaring weakness, right? Either their 5-hole, they couldn't deal with it. Something about them, the other team knew how to score on them. Like we talked with Bob in Florida, shoot high, right? Just the Bruins never shoot high. So the thing I think about is there a spot on Swayman that the other team will always score on? Yeah, there's always that kind of between the pad and the blocker, but every goalie seems to have that weakness. And I don't see any other glaring weaknesses in Swayman's game that gives me a little bit more comfort, where I think he seems to be getting a little bit stronger. And he seems to be competing a little bit harder, going, post to post a little bit faster with a little bit more intensity than he was early on. So I'd like to think that he can turn it around, and I'm hoping his bad games early on just make his stats seem worse than they probably are.
Perhaps.
And it also kind of sticks. What's that?
One of those bad games was a week ago.
Yeah. So yeah, like what happens if you take out a couple of his worst games? Are his stats decent, or what is it? And it also doesn't help that Olmark's like 7-0-1 in his last 8 games or something. So
he's found it.
Yeah.
He's found it. It's
it
is it's a frustrating thing. I mirror you. Like I love Swayman. I have high hopes for him, and for better or for worse, we've got him for a long time.
Yes, dude.
But I am past the point with him of wanting to listen to hot takes on how the Bruins organization screwed him over, held out too long, didn't give him the benefit of showing up to camp. He came in underprepared. We blew this, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want to say about the organization, they've got scouts. They've got goalie Bob. They've got a model, and about, halfway through this season, I can't keep the thoughts out of my head. What were they right in some of those arbitration points?
Right.
They had concerns. Watching Swayman play with the full load of this year, were those concerns merited?
Yeah.
We will find out in the next half of this season. But I no longer think it is as simple a question as Neely and Sweeney mismanaged this.
Yeah,
that's that came in with something to prove and a notebook full of feelings. You would think that a freshly minted $8 million contract would give you some pep in your step to prove that you're worth that.
Yep.
And so I don't quite know what to think here. I'm withholding judgment a little bit, but I'm no longer like, I'm being a little bit more diplomatic in terms of to both sides of this.
Well, it's going to take us a year or two to understand and fully realize, was this a good, smart decision, or are we fucked?
Yeah.
So,
in the meantime, Polo is looking lovely. And anytime they want to put him in net, I'm happy to see him there.
I would be okay if he played a little bit more.
Yeah.
Give him some back-to-backs, but
indeed.
All
right.
Do you think I know there's always talk about neutral zone, kind of transitions or getting the puck out of your zone faster. Do you think we've improved or gotten worse on those kind of D zone entries, that kind of neutral zone transition with speed, or have we kind of gotten worse?
No, I don't think we're
just kind of.
Yeah, you know what? Like the fact that I don't have a strong opinion about it probably makes me feel like we've gotten worse. Because we had guys in Heinen and Jake DeBrusk last year that could actually interrupt plays and drive and keep things from getting into our own defensive end by busting up plays in the neutral zone. And I don't see that as often this year. And I feel like there's a lack of explosiveness coming out of our own end, which moves into the neutral zone as well in terms of driving plays. I don't feel like I've ever felt a lot of teams have been on their heels with us coming at them. And so, I feel like we're missing that. And I think that there's pieces we lost, not reflected in goal tallies, last season that, missing now, and we don't have the ability to plug them. I don't know. I'm interested in this new guy. Maybe he'll. Although from what I hear, he's not very fast.
Wahlstrom?
Yeah.
The last few games I've seen, I've been pleasantly surprised with Wahlstrom. But I want to see him play with better skilled guys to kind of show what he actually can do out there. Do you think the Bruins are missing Grizz on that kind of defensive zone transitions, getting that speed, getting that other team on their heels? Do you think it's more of like a peak type player and Carlo where they're a little bit slower on that, first pass or that kind of rush out the zone?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think what they're doing is like, obviously it's basic, right? You can either get the puck and skate real fast, or you can get the puck and pass it.
Real fast.
Kind of getting the puck and skating real slow and then passing real slow. And it's sort of like, I don't have a real easy answer, but I would imagine one of the two of those things could be done quicker and harder and faster.
Yes.
Maybe asking for both is too much. But if you don't have explosiveness to your step, figure out a way to fire it to somebody, hard and fast and accurately. Get something up.
Yes.
That would be the first thing I would start doing.
Yeah, and it's probably a good time to take a break.
Yeah, exactly.
But the one thing that I'm also seeing on that breakout is it seems like the forwards they see we're going to get the puck and they just go. And usually that really doesn't work, where you need to kind of make yourself available for a pass. And I think that's one thing that they're trying to do too much of, and the defenseman doesn't have a lane or a spot to pass to. So that's what makes everything look slow, because guys are on him so he can't skate. No one's open so he can't pass. So you're kind of fucked both ways. So that's not a good place to be.
Well, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with some quick grades of some players. All right, we're back. So without looking at the middle of the road guys, let's take a look at just some folks that are have been on the team for a while, are new to the team, and just give some flash grades. Because obviously, you got the younger guys. They're gonna have times when they're gonna shine, and then times when they're gonna regress. That's fully expected. And then there are other guys who just get out there and do their job, and they're performing at levels of expectation.
Yeah.
But new guys came in. They're either big signs, or they've been around and are kind of the foundation of this team. So let's just take a look at. I'm just going to read off some names, and we'll just quickly go through. What we think. First up, Zadorov. What do you think?
Overall, probably B-.
Okay.
I mean, he's probably a little bit overpaid. He's early on, he was getting way too many penalties, playing too reckless. Didn't seem like he quite understood the system. But you're starting to see him get a little bit more comfortable, playing a little bit more physical, but more with his body than his stick. Yeah. And he's more of a presence. You're noticing him more.
Yeah.
So I would say probably about a B-, somewhere out there. What do you think?
Agreed. I think he's trending in the right direction. I think that for the amount of money we signed him for, and what he did almost immediately off the bat was cause for a great deal of concern. But any game that goes by and he's not in the box, I'm like, look at that. Look at that. He did it. He made it through a game without doing something stupid, He's figured out a way. And listen, I mean, I can watch him anytime he gets inside somebody and just rides them away from the net right into the boards. I can watch that all day, all night. He's not trying anything fancy. He's just an obstruction. Yep. And if that is the role that he needs to fill from now until the postseason, God willing, we make it in, then I'm fine with it. I'm thinking that and maybe it speaks a little bit to Monty's approach with him. A change in coaching means that there had to be a different approach with him. But I can see signs of life in the way that he is approaching the game, and he is not a black hole defensively anymore. So
went from a small cone to a nice big ass cone.
Yeah.
That kind of skates with people, so I'll take it.
Exactly. All right. Marshawn, what do you think?
I'm just keep signing him. I love him.
I mean, 36-year-old dude, 3 surgeries, leads the team in goals.
Exceeding expectations. Yeah. He has been better than I thought he was going to be.
Yes. For his sophomore year in the captain's role, he is the captain of this team. And I have no worries about him.
Nope.
And even when last night everybody made mistakes and Marchand made a couple.
Mm-hmm.
When Marchand makes a mistake, and this goes through his entire career, he doesn't give a shit. He gets out there and he keeps going.
Yep.
And for this team, with this personnel, that is the example that needs to be for everybody. So,
exactly.
Yes. Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10, no notes. Charlie Coyle.
B- maybe. I mean, I feel something's bugging him. He kind of moved off of center, didn't take draws, and now he's on wing. Something's going on. I still see him. He's still noticeable. He's still being called by the announcers, but it's less frequently than you'd want a person that size and that rugged. But again, I think he's trending upward. I'm okay with Chuck. I'll take what he's given us.
Yeah. I do kind of miss him. Last year he was sort of a stalwart of puck possession. You could not get the puck away from that guy. He could hold on to it forever. The fact that that's less of an issue with him this year also makes me think that there is something going on with him. And if there is something going on with him, he's earned enough credibility with me to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's not playing great. I hope whatever is in his game. This is a guy that's punched above his weight class for the entirety of his tenure with this team. For the sake of him and his personality and his work ethic, I hope he continues to be able to do it. But a bit of a slide this year.
Yep. No, definitely.
We got to talk about Morgan Geekie.
No, we don't.
We do.
We don't.
He has made it so that we can't not talk about him. He's scoring goals, man. He scored last night. The goal got taken away, and he said, "That's all right. Hold my beer. I'm going to go do it again."
I feel like Geekie is my Jake DeBrusk for everybody else. Everybody wanted to kind of hate Jake DeBrusk because he was so inconsistent and all that, and that to me is Geekie. Where he's been playing,
or everyone else hates him.
It's just he's so inconsistent.
Yeah,
and I don't. It's hard to explain. I don't understand why Geekie is a top on the first line. That's always infuriated me. I never saw him do anything until lately, where he's just one of those guys that baffles me completely. He's got this motor. He's young. He's got skills. It's just he never seems to score on breakaways. He misses the net a lot. It's just sometimes I love him and sometimes I hate him. So he's just one of those kind of inconsistent players that I don't know. I don't know about him. I don't know if I want the Bruins to keep him or try to trade him. I don't know.
Well,
what do you think?
He's playing like he wants to be re-signed. That's something. In a game where you're only as good as your last mistake, he's not made a bunch of them. He is making it harder and harder to ignore him.
That's fair. Yeah.
Right. If you can no longer disregard him. He's been a deciding factor in a number of games of late. Right. So now you have to go, shit, he's showing something.
And I think
I have no idea, but I don't know last year. That you would have actually said, you know who Geekie reminds me of? Jake DeBrusk.
So my thing for him is I feel he's that type of player where his motor should be going more constantly or more often than anybody else on the ice. And I don't always see that from him, which is what kind of aggravates me and makes me kind of wish he wasn't on the team anymore. So it's just what does he do that's better than the average player?
Ah, that's
So
true.
it's, I don't know, things like that.
That's true.
But
I mean, I agree. What's better than the average player? But unfortunately, scoring goals, which is better than most of them.
I'll take those goals.
I don't know what to make of him either. I guess if
Yeah.
we want to go pass fail, he's passing right now.
Yeah, I'll give him. I would agree. Who's next?
Let's talk about Costa.
Okay. What's there not to talk about?
What's there not to talk about? So I'll say this. There is a player who I'm not going to name for a couple of reasons, for whom people like to say, there's just sort of a thing when he's on the ice, you kind of feel him there. And I don't agree with that take, but I agree with that take with Costa.
Agreed.
He plays to a level where whenever he scores, they'll say, this is his first goal in X many games. And I go, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I thought he scored more. I never miss him when he's on the ice. He is that guy that brings something no matter what he's doing. He's doing it. I wish he'd hurled it at the net last night, but I can't really hold that too much against him.
Right.
He's a guy that when he came to the team, I was like, I don't know this guy's.
Right.
And if there's anybody, he has made the biggest mark of anybody we've acquired in the offseason.
Agreed. Yeah, no, for sure. Especially early on when he was getting in fights, getting goals.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to move up in the lineup to try to spark the team. He was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he fits perfectly on that fourth line. He's been a great surprise. And the good thing is he's been consistently good the entire year. You haven't seen him drop off. If he hasn't scored goals, he's been that forechecker. He's been that guy that gets in the scrums or will stick up for his teammates. It's been probably the best acquisition over Zadorov. Korpisalo is close, but Lindholm, he's been which is crazy to think, he's been the best pickup. So just keep doing what he's doing, and he's winning faceoffs. There's really nothing to hate.
Yeah, he's a very well-rounded player for his role.
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk about the A's. We don't need to spend a lot of time on Pasta, but he is wearing A, so we should at least button up our thoughts on Pasta for this.
I don't think he's snake bit. I don't think he's got the yips. I think there is something bugging him that's giving him second thoughts. Maybe a thumb. So when he tries to shoot, maybe there's like a pain that he's not comfortable with, or a groin or something. Something's there that's he doesn't seem like that 60 goal scorer anymore.
No.
And something's got to change. And yeah, he seems a little bit lazy out there, where I'd like to see him pick up his pace, and he's wearing that A, so he should be leading by example. And sometimes I think he gets a little lazy, little lackadaisical, and that maybe rubs off on some of the other guys. Which I hope it's not, but you never know. What do you think?
Agreed. I'm hesitant to, crack open my thoughts on him. I want nothing but for the best of him, but he hasn't been him this entire season. And whatever it is, I hope it gets fixed. It's not that he doesn't have the talent. He clearly does. It's not that he doesn't want to win. He loves to win, probably better, more than anybody on that team. But something he's doing isn't working. And for our sake and for all of our sakes, I hope he figures it out, because Marchand is the captain, but as Pasta goes, so goes the Bruins.
Yeah.
And it's not going super great right now.
Nope.
So lastly, what do you think of Charlie McAvoy? How's he doing?
You know what? He's
not lastly. We got another one. Okay.
Well, yeah, but no, not lastly. I think McAvoy is doing fine. I never expected him to be a big offensive point getter. I've always kind of considered him more of a kind of a two-way defenseman, more a little bit stay at home that plays big. I don't see any dip in his leadership. He seems like a guy that does try. He's he finishes his check. He clears the front of the net out. He sticks up for his team. He's been doing pretty much what I've thought he's should be doing and what I want him to do. So I've been pretty good with McAvoy. I don't know who is going to be the next captain after Marchand retires, whenever that is, and that's a question. Is it going to be McAvoy? Is he displaying those, captain leadership traits that we would want in a captain, or is he just kind of staying in Marchand's shadow maybe a little bit too much? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I also had a note here about his leadership. I on the ice, I think the effort's definitely there. I think sometimes he tries to do too much, which keeps him from doing the simple things. Twice on the same power play last night, we had 50 seconds of sustained pressure. And then it comes to him, and it's like, whoop, right by him, and it's like,
what do I do with this?
What are you doing, Charlie? You have one job.
I know, right?
I feel like he oscillates between too much hesitation at the point and too much ambition down low. But these are the types of things that emerge over a long career. My concern for him is, how is he in the room? Is he, because again, he's the guy who's been shortlisted for the next captain. And right now, I'm kind of not really. I don't see that translating well. I don't know whether or not he's a guy that people look to, and he's been on this team a while, and so I don't know whether or not he makes people stand a little bit taller. I don't know whether or not he's one of those guys that, like, I do as Charlie does, and
right.
That's probably my main concern for him, because we're now 2 years into a Bergeron vacuum. Marchand has risen to the occasion, where we had similar concerns about him, and those concerns are gone for whatever reason. Right. I don't know how or why they're gone. McAvoy seems like I don't even remember what we were concerned about when it comes to Marchand, right?
No.
And McAvoy, I look at and go, maybe you are taking a step back, maybe, but you do wear an A, and like I have pause.
You just want more.
I just want more.
I guess more energy, more shots, just better. You're supposed to be that power play one defenseman. Do more to affect that power play positively, and that's, I think, what we can't get past.
Yes,
it's those expectations, which is tough, and I think they're valid and logical.
Yeah.
So
last guy I got here before we Brandon Carlo. Let's talk about Brandon Carlo.
You like him? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, all right. So here's what I'll say about Brandon Carlo, and then I'll, Last year, I felt Brandon Carlo is best when you don't hear his name a lot, because he was a guy that he is just a defenseman, and he played defense, and he moved the puck out, and he was good, and he is good. Last year, I remember remarking at how hard and good his shot was from the blue line, and the only note I had for him was I wanted him to shoot more.
Yeah.
This year he is not having a good year, and I don't know what's going on there.
No, it's I love Carlo defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I hate he has regressed again at getting the puck out of his own zone. He always just will whip it around the boards. You'll see that too often, where the Bruin forward then has to fight for the puck, and it's not right. It's not a pass to the stick. It's a pass to the skates. He vastly improved last year at that, and he's gotten worse. He has zero offensive abilities, where it's a miracle when he actually shoots the puck and it goes on net. Mm-hmm. It's not anything that's going to scare the other team or get a chance. And the one thing I've always wanted Carlo to do is just play meaner. He always seems like too nice, too much. Everybody's like big brother. He's just, you never see him clear guys out. He never goes after the big hit when he could. It's always a little bit tentative. And I don't know if that's his concussion history, but there's always something where I want him to just punch guys in front of the net or something. Just get mean a little bit. And it's, just those little things, and definitely getting that puck out of his zone. That's always been my issue with him, and I think that's why he's gotten a little bit worse. And if I wish people would work on him with it, it just never seems as it's something that gets worked on. So
What an interesting. I love your take, because even when I see him talk to the media, and even when I see him on Behind the Bee, I'm like, hi, he's a nice guy. Brandon Carlo is really a nice guy. And I guess maybe you don't want a super duper nice guy as
No, especially guy that's what, 6'5" something,
it's
right?
100% true. No, I mean, there was such at the beginning of the season with Brandon Carlo. He was out in Vegas for an NHL event. He runs into Austin Matthews, and he's just like, "Hey, man, how's it going? How you doing? Oh, I'd love to make it out to Phoenix sometime. You're from there? Yeah, my family. Oh, I love that area. Blah blah. Hey, man, good to see you. Blah blah. Yeah, maybe, yeah, maybe don't buddy with Austin Matthews. I don't know. That's a fair point. Maybe you're right, Mo. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm turning around on this.
Nah, it's all right. You can still like Carlo.
I do like him.
There's one guy you're not allowed.
So here's I intentionally left this for the last one, because now is the part where I am going to push my chair away from the monitor. I'm going to pour myself a drink. I have a little Hogman over here. This is the point of this season that everybody has been waiting for. Mo, give us your thoughts on Trent Frederic.
I feel as if I'm the only person that has hated him for the last 18 months. And it gives me pleasure that people are starting to talk about him in the negative as opposed to the positive. Let me explain as articulately as I can. So I did not know anything about Frederic until his first game when he got into the fight. And that was fine. Then he and Coyle had that season. What was that, 3 years ago? That was kind of like Coyle's resurgence. And Frederic had, 15 goals, some assists, right? Then last season, everybody thought that he was God's gift. Everybody thought he was going to get 20 goals. And I remember there were guys that we would fight about and I would laugh. And I do not think that Trent Frederic is a bad NHL player. I think he's one of the worst hockey players in terms of using his skill set and basically not being able to do what he should do. So I think Frederic is a fourth line center at best. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I think he plays better as a center. He's had a decent game against Buffalo, where everything he does that people say he does well is, in my opinion, not true, right? He doesn't use his body effectively. His hits are ineffective, where he'll try to hit the body as opposed to the stick. He always goes the wrong way and will get beat on pucks on the boards. He does not do anything well at all. He is inconsistent with his speed. His goals don't bring power or energy. His last 2 goals that he scored didn't do anything. I do not understand the people that always say he is as good as everybody claims to be. I never understand what I'm trying to watch for. It's just, he doesn't fight for the puck. He always has one hand on his stick. He will always lean for the puck when he's trying to fight for a guy. You never see him win the puck off the boards. The Bruins cannot get rid of him fast enough. And I've always said, if you can get people that think they like him, go and package him and Carlo and Lysell and go get Kreider. And now you can drop Gigi down. You've got Kreider, Pasta, and Zaka, and now you actually have guys that can play with Pasta. That's not the only guy. So I will continue to hate Trent Frederic with every bone and blood cell in my body. And I am absolutely loving everybody hating on him finally.
Yeah. So from a hockey standpoint, you were like the dude that walked around and was like, I listened to Pearl Jam before Pearl Jam got big. Like,
That's how I feel.
It's true.
I knew.
Yeah. Like you should have seen some of Frederick's early stuff. Yeah.
there's just
So I'll jump in a little bit and I'll give you a little bit of grit to push against. Just so, because you started off way kinder than I thought you were gonna, but then you ended.
I had to.
Hatred. So here's what's interesting: when they extended Frederick the first time, you were like, "No." I remember this. You were like, "Why would you sign this guy?" And I was like, "This is Trent Frederick. Who the fuck is Trent Frederick? He's a perfectly acceptable hockey player. I don't have an
No, he's not.
forward or back against him. They saw like but he wasn't a big name on the team. And then he went on to have a couple of decent years. So you ripping into him were like, but he's scoring. So what's the problem? I mean, and you're like, you don't get it. He's awful. And I'm like, but he's scoring. So I'm fine if you score. As long as you score, you're fine. But that led to this weird thing that happened. And I'll tell you what happened. For me, what ended up happening was at the end of last year, where people were like, does Frederick deserve an A? And that weird press scrum where they were like, Frederick, you're kind of getting to be like a veteran. Do you feel like your voice is being heard? And he was legitimately confused by that. He was like, what are you talking about? You know, then we come into this season and everyone's like, yeah, Frederick, oh man, Frederick's just going to take off. He's going to be so good. And then he proceeds to do nothing really of any consequence for the team in any real way, in the way that like, a random goal will happen here, a random goal will happen there. Maybe he'll break up a play now and again, but like, I haven't really felt him on the ice the way I feel Costa. Like he's not even on camera and I know Costa's there. Like I just sort of feel it's like a vibe, right? But they talk about Frederick the way we should be talking about Costa. And and that is a weird thing. And the continued apology for Frederick dragged on up until only a couple of games ago, where even Morning Brew was like, Frederick and Coyle need to wake up. But up until then, seemed to be no issue with Frederick's level of play. And I'll tell you, I was even watching the Behind the B episode where they talked about the Centennial game. Fucking Esposito is up in the box commenting on Frederick in the fight in Montreal and being like, oh, if he would have done well with us. And I was like, the hell are you talking about? You look at anybody down on the ice right now and you say, I would take him in a time machine back with us to the 70s. And you are like, Frederick.
Yeah, right.
Bill,
no.
What is going on? So I never really felt that Frederick was that important enough for you to hate initially. But now I feel like he is too big to not hate. Like, he just stayed there and was doing whatever he was doing and stayed at the level of expectation.
I still would have hated him.
Like Brazeau or Wotherspoon, or like whatever. I would be like, whatever. He's a guy who's going out there and he's running his shifts. The thing that gets me a little bit, and then I'm going to hand it back to you so you can bring this home because I know you've got more in the tank. You're holding out on this, Mo. I feel like the level of slack given to Frederick is disproportional to the amount of slack given to Jake DeBrusk at the same time last year. I would take Jake DeBrusk back over Trent Frederick any day of the week and 3 times on Sunday. And yet, somehow there is still some sort of belief that this guy's got something in the tank he's not showing us. DeBrusk was playing with a broken hand last year and was still finding a way to make an impact. He just wasn't getting the goals. Frederick is a black hole on the ice. Mo, take it.
Yeah, he is worse than an average NHL player. Every time I see him out on the ice, there's never anything he does positive. Compare his zone entries to Kostelek's. Costa goes hard to the net, gets a chance. Frederick will 8 times out of 10 give the puck up.
Yeah,
and
a lot of turnovers.
Watch him away from the puck in his own zone. He will always kind of like he'll be that guy that will go where a guy is already covered. He won't try to cover the ice that isn't covered that should be. He'll always be in the wrong position. He'll always be a step too late. He makes the team worse, and he's an unrestricted free agent. And if you re-sign him, he's going to cost $4.5 million. Do you want a guy that does absolutely nothing on the ice making $5 million? You never hear him change the momentum. He gets the puck and he gives it to the other team. You can't do that. It's and I don't understand. He's not a penalty killer anymore. He's not a power play guy. He's absolutely worthless. And anybody that tells me he is better than I think he is, I need someone to tell me what to look for. Because I will tell you, look at the board battles. He can't win them. Look at the forechecks. He's not in on the forecheck. He does not affect the game positively at all. And it's finally nice that some people are starting to realize it. And I hope management realizes it. And just come deadline, some out of town stupid person wants him.
Yeah.
So,
so I'll give you a little bit more ammo for your clips. 35 games. Through 35 games, Frederick has, I had the stats up, and where did they go? That he has 5 goals, 6 assists. But this stat means nothing until you quote it as a -13.
Yep. Yep. And he's 43% on faceoffs.
Yeah. And so in that does not scream future pillar of a hockey organization to me.
No.
And so for that reason, and I don't hate him like you hate him.
I just can't.
And I was expecting charts and graphs, and I'm sure you've got them, but maybe you're.
I will.
Too much. But
we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep looking for it.
Yeah,
don't worry. It won't be hard to find.
I don't understand the expectation doesn't jive with what the reality of it is.
No.
Certainly this far into a season, I don't understand the slack he's being given.
No.
And I also agree with you. Because it's interesting to hear of these rumors of people being like, there's interest about Trent Frederick. I agree with you. Package him with a couple of prospects and like get somebody that can make an impact now.
Right.
Because he doesn't seem to have answers. Like I don't see him angry. I don't see him, when he gets into fights, they seem like they are for show.
Yeah.
I don't see great with him. I kind of don't. Right. I think people want to see it, but I'm not. And maybe he wants it to be there, but like he just doesn't seem that concerned. He is a UFA. He's a UFA. This is a contract year for him. I don't feel that like I got to show myself. I got to step up. There's a vacuum here. And in this team, there are many holes and there are many vacuums. Anyone could step in and fill anything. Sweeney even alluded to it at the end of last season. Didn't think that was going to be the harbinger of doom that it turned out to be. But like, there are holes. You could fill them. I don't see him rushing forward to do it.
No. And I don't know what else there is to say. Maybe people want to like him and have blinders on because he was a first round draft pick, because he had that great season when he was a plus 28, where even in that season, I still wasn't very impressed. The next season after that, he was only a plus 9, where it's like, okay, great. Wow, you got worse. Like I thought you would. So, and he had that chance, didn't he? He had 18 goals. He had 18 through probably 60, 65 games, where like the last 20 games, he didn't do jack shit. So I just need to know, why do people like him? What about his game is impressive? Where there's so much about his game that's unimpressive. And I think that's what hurts it most for me. Is he's not strong on the puck. He's not a great forechecker. Everybody makes out that he has hits, but you never remember them. They're not like a McAvoy hit or a hit that's going to be a Costa or someone that will affect the play. It's always late or behind the guy, or nothing really happens. When he's on the ice, I never go, oh shit, that all happened because of Freddie. It's we keep talking about him. I might vomit. So
well, I mean, rarely have I seen a player that could be any aspect of his game could be so easily eclipsed by somebody. You want to talk about how scrappy he was? Everyone talked about how scrappy he was last year, and then we signed Maroon, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, All right, I guess, like, okay, that's a dude that didn't even need to fight,
Right.
because
Or
that's,
Hathaway.
yeah, or anybody. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
bring almost anybody in. There's nothing that like it is. He takes a place on the ice, but I don't feel like there's any part of his game that's like you can't take him out of the lineup because X.
Right. Yeah.
Well, do you feel better at least having been able to get on your soapbox for a bit? No, you don't feel. You're saying
No, he's still a Bruin.
this is
He's
true.
not
This is
traded
true
yet.
hatred. Where you're like, I'm not even angry. I've just worked myself up. I'm almost angrier.
I will hate him wherever he goes. So I will hate stalk him virtually.
Amazing.
So
Amazing. We got to figure out a way to send him to Montreal.
No, I'd actually probably like that. No, he needs to go somewhere really shitty.
San Jose.
Yeah, San Jose would be perfect. Go to St. Louis. I hate the Blues. Go to St. Louis.
Yep.
That's an easy team and easy players to hate. So that'd be okay. Go back to Monty. That would be perfect for me.
Fair enough.
Just get a bag of pucks or future considerations or cash and just get the fuck off my team. That's all I want. Just no. Yeah. Nope. I'd rather see McLaughlin out there over him. I'd bring up Merkulov again. I'd rather see Lowry play forward over Trent Frederick. Just give me something.
Yeah.
Is it bad to say that I root for him to get hurt?
I mean,
because I do.
Okay.
I do.
But for the betterment of the team, right?
Yeah, but not seriously hurt. Like,
or are you talking like on a personal level?
No, I don't hate him personally. Just
I'd love him to like stub his toe real bad, and be like, I can't, like one of those where you like catch the corner of your couch and you're just like,
yeah, jump into bed and kick it.
Yeah, and then he's out for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, and then let the team play without him and finally realize that they're better.
There you go. Well, I think that's
I feel a little better.
All that can be said about that. But what do you think, my man? You got anything else you want to talk about real quick?
I don't think so. I think we covered most everything. I think the team is getting better. They're trending up.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to catch Florida at the top of the standings. I think they'll get in. I'm hopeful they'll make a decent acquisition. I think someone will get traded. They'll bring someone in. Don likes to make that big splash. And if the cap goes up, that will only help that situation. So I think something's going to happen. And ultimately, I think Sacco will probably be kept on as coach for a while. I think that's what ultimately happened.
Yeah, I could see that.
What do you think?
I agree. I hope we get a nice Patra call up for Christmas. There's no real reason at this point.
There's no place to play him unless you trade Frederick.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Just please trade Frederick.
Would he? I mean, at this point, I'm sure you would love for them to just dump him to
just
Providence, have him not clear waivers and get picked up by someone.
Place him on waivers. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just make it. Yeah. Just
whatever.
Bye. Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yep.
There you go. So we've got a plan. There's the plan, everybody. Wave bye to Frederick, call up Patra, and let's start
perfect
2025 with a bang.
I would like that a lot.
All right. Well, I think we're in a place where we can call it. I wish I knew the socials off the top of my head, but I don't. But at this point, you can probably find them. And
Caroline will add them.
Yeah, exactly. Happy holidays to everybody. Have a lovely new year. We'll see you back in January holidays. For more Bruins. Go Bees.
Go Bees.
All right. We're out. We did it.
All right.
We did it.